Hi folks, welcome to the Transgendered Chef. I am the Transgendered Chef, Diana Clarion. I'm on a budget, and one of the things I do about that is try to eat as inexpensively yet as well as possible. One way to do that is with bean stews. They are delicious, nutritious, full of protein, vitamins, and minerals, so why don't we make one? Let's get started. Now, remember here that this is not one of those things that you're going to make at 6:30 for dinner at 8, and that's the reason for that is going to become apparent very shortly. You'll notice that all I have in front of me is a jar of pinto beans. I buy them in bulk. This is about 2 pounds in here. For this recipe, we're going to use a pound. And to do that, I like to use a little food scale that I found for $5 at that wonderful French boutique known as Transgendered. Just take it apart, put the little hopper on top, and then there's a feature, a little knob here in the back for tearing, T-A-R-E. What that does is with this hopper on, I can adjust the indicator dial to read 0 with nothing in it. Now I'm going to open up the beans and start pouring until I get about 16 ounces. And hopefully I'm not going to get very many of them on the floor as I usually do. Okay, well there goes one. Sylvia will find that one later. And let's see, just a couple more. All right, we've got about 16 ounces, 454 grams. Excuse me. Now, some of you may be saying, look, I'm on a budget too, so I really don't have the extra $5 for a food scale. I can understand that. I know, I've been there. So we're going to figure out another way, an alternate way to measure out the beans. Going to grab our trusty dusty little measuring cup here and pour. And we will see that this is a bit over 2 cups of pinto beans for the pound. So you can go either way. You can go a pound, you can go 2 cups. It works. Put that away. Now I said this is going to take a while. The reason it's going to take a while is we're going to need to soak these beans. They're rather hard right now. You might break a tooth if you wanted to chew on one. So we're going to pour those into a Dutch oven. Get ourselves some water, conveniently off camera, and just start pouring water over the beans. Covering them by a couple of inches. So I used about a half gallon of water to do that. Just stir a little bit here. See if any loose skins or anything float to the top. I think I found one. Now if I could just grab it, would be okay here. There we go. All right, so now we have a pound of beans and about a half gallon of water in a Dutch oven. Cover. We're going to let that set overnight. This is why I'm telling you that you don't start this at 6:30 for dinner at 8. See you in the morning. Okay, we're back. The beans have been soaking for about 12 hours. They're over here. They've increased a bit in volume. Actually, a few of the skins have split off, and I've been picking those out. Then, it still isn't so much the base ingredient over there as what else goes into it. So what we've got is 3 pork ribs, 2 decently sized green peppers, potatoes. You can use 2 medium. I've got a medium and a couple rather small. An onion, reasonably sized. Carrots. I've got 3 of them right here. Jalapenos, 2 of them. Yeah, this is going to be a fun stew. Two cans, 14.5 ounces of stewed tomatoes. Can of tomato paste, 6 ounces. 6 cloves of garlic. Yeah, fun. Salt and pepper to taste. 2 tablespoons of vinegar. This is apple cider vinegar. Red wine vinegar works well too. And bay leaf. So let's set about to chopping things up and getting ready for the actual cooking. I'll pull down my trusty dusty cutting board here, and why don't we start on the carrots. Now for cutting the carrots, for slicing them, you're going to want to go about a ½ inch. You know, nothing terribly large, but you don't want them tiny either because they'll turn to mush as this thing is cooking. For slicing these, you know, they offer a little bit of resistance, so go ahead and use the heel of the knife. Just pivot it down. Get these puppies all nicely chopped. Okay, carrot number 2. Heel of the knife. And carrot number 3. Now, you don't have to peel these if you don't want. I mean, some people like to do that. The carrots and the potatoes, you don't necessarily have to peel them. I rather like to just give them a light scrubbing. And you have all that carrot peel and potato peel goodness going on. And a little bit of stuff from the floor. There. No, I have no idea where it went. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, carrots. Let's get these potatoes going. And again, reasonably sized pieces. Just dice them up. About a ½ inch or so. Again, using that heel of the knife. And we've got some lovely potato cubes here. Okay, into the bowl. Always, always, always the back of the knife for moving these guys from cutting board to bowl. Hello. Okay, there's that last one. It was hiding in plain sight. Yeah, if you want me to not see something, put it right in front of me. Look around. Alright, there's our wonderful potatoes. Now for the peppers, just slice top off, pull out the seeds, and take out the ribs too. Those can be a little bitter. Not necessarily the tastiest thing on the planet. Now, what I'll do is just cut along the little grooves. This just me being OCD, don't worry about that. Give them a nice little slice and a little chop, keeping them reasonably sized. Get over here, you. Okay, one more section here on this guy. Okay, now this has a little bit of refrigerator burn, so let's cut that out. Just put that into pieces. Now, where did my other, yeah, again, hiding in plain sight. Top off. Seeds out. Take the ribs. And I see that this has a little bit of burn at the bottom, so let's get rid of that. And chop, 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 chop. Okay, there are our peppers. Now for the onion, I've already taken the skin off. Turn that baby into 2 half onions. And go slice, slice, slice down the cylinder and give it a few more slices crosswise. Want to have the pieces be a reasonable size. Okay. Now for the garlic. See, peeling garlic isn't all that difficult. Basically, just take it between your fingers, squeeze, and roll it around a bit. That will fracture the paper covering the garlic, and you can just take it off from there. Sometimes you get an inner layer that's a little recalcitrant, but nothing fingernails can't handle. We will proceed to mince this stuff up. All our ducks in a row, knife in hand. Yeah, this guy took off, so let's... There we are. Into a nice little pile. And just do a little pivoting action here. Tip of the knife on the cutting board. Chop and pivot. Now let's put that in with the onion. They are headed for the same place anyway. Now, I like to use a wooden cutting board for most things, but I am going to be cutting some meat. So let's switch to a plastic cutting board. It's easier to keep clean, easier to keep sanitary. Pull these pork ribs out of the bag in which they've been living while frozen up in my freezer. And we'll just cut them apart. Here we go. Nice meaty pork ribs. All set for the frying pan. So let's go to it. Okay, this should be a rather familiar view by now. I'm going to turn the heat under this skillet to high for the moment. Just drop a little bit of oil in. There we go. Definitely don't want to use too much. You don't want this stuff to be all greasy and icky. It's not a good thing. The beans are over here in the colander, just nicely drained. And the onion and garlic are going into yon skillet to give them a little sautéing here. Get the flavors going. It's gonna take a few minutes, not very long, maybe about 5. Then sit there for a minute while I grab a sip of coffee, the elixir of life. Hey, listen to that. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. Jeff Smith, Julia Child, Graham Kerr would do wine. I do coffee. I've got a little bit of a drinking problem. There's booze all over the house and I forget to drink it. That is a problem. Okay, get these going around a little bit. Just get them nice and translucent. And while that's going, I'm going to grab the pork ribs. Get them browning a little bit. Doesn't take much. In fact, let me turn the fan on. Let me turn the heat down a little. I don't want the onions going south while I brown the pork ribs. And these ribs are just basically for seasoning. At something around $4 a pound, I not eating 3 meals a day. But it's just a little something to add a bit of flavor to our wonderful stew. Come here, you. Come on. Okay, come on. There you go. Look at that. Get set up over here. Okay, that's not too bad. got a nice little bit of browning going on everything, so let's turn the heat down and get to something I forgot to do earlier. Now I said I forgot something earlier, yeah, and that's the jalapenos. That's the important part. Chopping up an jalapeno is rather like chopping up a bell pepper. Difference being that the seeds are a little harder to get at. So just take the top off. Do a little bit of a splay. All right, we've got it opened up. Now you want to get these seeds and the ribs definitely the heck out of here, unless you happen to like things really hot. This is where all the capsaicin is. This is the seeds and the ribs are where you're going to feel the heat. Now, I used to be able to take all sorts of heat in my younger days, but my younger days were a long time ago, and I just don't know if I can do that anymore. So I'm going to clean these jalapenos rather well. Okay, we got that. Do the same with the other one. Top off. Fillet. Okay, just get that baby open. And then from there, bye-bye seeds. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I can do the heat anymore. It's been quite a while. I remember dropping the jaw of a waitress at the original Buffalo Wings bar in Buffalo, New York. So my friends were telling stories about how I would eat just about any pepper. She brought out a habanero, and I sat there munching on it happily, and she sat there looking at me like I'd come from Mars or something. That, however, was 20 years ago. 20 years is a long time. And I'm just putting those in with the bell peppers that I sliced up earlier. Okay, we are there. Let's get rid of this cutting board, make some room here. And we're going to do this in my ever so handy crock pot. Let's wipe the dust off the lid. It's been sitting there for a few weeks. In fact, it's been sitting there since I did Cincinnati chili. That was back in January. Okay. Pop the latches, pop the lid. Beans into crock pot. Peppers into crock pot. Carrots into crock pot. Ribs. Onions and garlic into the crock pot. Hey! Start mixing that up a little bit. Right. Acquire Mr. Can Opener. Going to open up the cans of stewed tomato. One thing I'm going to do, if you can see this, as I open the can, I'm going to pour the liquid into a bowl. The purpose of that will soon become apparent. Okay, you another can of tomatoes. Pouring the liquid into our little bowl. And now our tomato paste. Going to open that and drop it into the liquid. Getting the studio all soaked. Yeah, folks, we're in good shape. Okay, let's see if we can get this see if we can get this lid off here. It's a little recalcitrant. All right, there we go, there we go, there we go. Lid off. I'm liking it. And now we put the tomato paste into the liquid from the tomatoes the right way. And we're doing this just to thin the consistency a bit, make it a little easier to handle. Just a little bit of a stir. Yeah, now we're there. Now we're there. See how it's a little bit easier to fool around with rather than those lumps of tomato paste. Now we've got something that's rather fluid. That gets poured over everything. And that all-important, ubiquitous ingredient, as you can hear from the sink over here. Okay, I got a half gallon of water here. I'm not sure that I'm going to use all that. Basically what we're doing is just water to cover. Get our little stirring implement going here. Just like that. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. We'll throw in a bay leaf or two. There, like that, like that. A little bit of pepper. Some salt. And the potatoes. Okay. Get these reasonably well mixed together such that we are not having separate neighborhoods of potato and pepper and especially beans. We want everything around there. Okay. Yay. We're just going to cover this and put it on a low for about a half a day. And when that is ready, we should, if all goes well, be ready to eat. Take care, folks. See you in about 8 hours. Okay, it's been about 8 hours, well, actually closer to 10, so let's pop the lid and see what we've got. Hey, will you look at that? That is some wonderful looking food there. You've got beans, you've got tomatoes, you've got carrots, you've got bell peppers, and you've got these wonderful ribs here. Now, you can strip the meat from the ribs if you want and incorporate it into the stew, or if you feel like it, you can simply gnaw on the bones. I'm good with it either way. Let us pour some, or spoon some into a bowl here and give it the ultimate taste test. Okay, let's try this out. Yeah. This is some really good stuff here. You get a little bit of that heat from the jalapeno, but it's not overpowering because the seeds have been removed, the ribs have been removed. The potato and the carrots provide some bulk, and the cat provides another appetite. Yes, Sylvia, I know. And have this with a little bit of bread. Get those wonderful juices going. Now, if you want to, another thing you can do, if you want a thicker stew, this is a rather brothy type of stew going here, you can take out a maybe about a cup of the cooked beans, run them through a blender, and then mix it back in with the stew in the crock pot. That'll give you a firmer or a thicker texture. And if you, another thing you might want to do, you can, in the last hour or so of cooking, stir in a cup of cooked rice, or a third cup of uncooked rice at start. Just make sure you don't use too much rice, because you'll end up with a whole concreted mess in there, and it'll be rather difficult to spoon out, although still tasty. So, while Sylvia is enjoying a roll over there, I am going to say thank you for watching, and I hope you go to declarion.nordnet.net, where this recipe will appear. And until then, bon appetit.